Guess what we're talking about this week, guys?
Inbetweeners Movie.
Yes, we are. Plus all the latest
Film news.
Yeah, I like to include you guys and stuff. Okay, let's do this. Let's go. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Tripod Talk, where we talk anything and everything about films. My name's Matt Lister, I'm your host, and I am joined by my wonderful co-host, Miss Sophie Ellis, and Mr. Adil Anwar.
Alright.
How you guys doing?
Alright.
Good, yeah?
Been enjoying the sun.
Oh, it's been fantastic here. What have we been doing? Oh, I know what we did. We tested out the drone.
Yeah, we did.
In preparation for adding more royalty-free content, which is up on the YouTube channel if anyone wants to go see. That's not a plug. Yeah, well, kind of. Anyway.
Definitely
But
is.
yeah, no, we've had a good day, haven't we? Went to the park.
Matt
kind
got
of played
sunburn.
football. I got sunburn, and I'm also fat, so I didn't last very long.
I need some shade. Just
I need
pass
some
out for a
shade.
little bit.
Yeah, go straight into a tree.
And we went to the pub.
Yeah, and then we went to the pub.
Had
Lovely.
some pub grub.
Oh, I can feel the stinging on the back of my neck.
Is it that
It's
bad?
hot. It's not bad. I don't mind it.
You
It's
like the
just I know
burn?
it's that I like the burn. So, anyway, beep 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 beep. We're going over to
no.
the news corner.
Oh, for
I
fuck's sake.
forgot about that.
We're bringing it back.
Oh,
It's the news
Christ.
corner because we
Can we go on strike?
You can't go on strike, no.
Oh, no.
But we are going
Where's
over
our union?
to Adil Anwar, our correspondent. Beep 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 beep.
Oh,
Have you got any film news for us?
Dare you
sir?
to take mine.
All right, I'm going to see if I take Soaps because she's been working hard on the film news and I've just done 2 minutes work before we came in. So the first bit of film news I've had, which is the one that's most likely to be Soaps, is about Rambo 5.
No.
Okay,
Oh,
cool.
we
That's
have
the big
different
news.
stuff.
Sylvester Stallone's been confirmed to star in it. After the success of Creed, he apparently wants to be in the next Rambo film himself at the age of 71.
Wow.
With the
Okay.
director from The Expendables. Dream Team's back together, obviously. and apparently it's going to be, he's working on a ranch, his friend's daughter's kidnapped, and he goes against the Mexican drug cartels. So that sounds new and interesting. I mean, Creed was great, but I can't see this being as kind of...
Especially
can't see it
because
pushing
he
the
had more
box.
of a backseat in Creed.
Yeah, and
So
plus
it's-
it's like, that was more of a, like, kind of, it hit a few philosophical, like, general kind of points about, like, you know, finding his place in the world, whereas Rambo was always just a bit more straight up action, a little bit of, like, kind of PTSD veteran talk, but it was mostly just this one dude taking on a lot of people with lots of veins popping and stuff. So,
Veins
I mean, he's still got that going, but he's 70, so it's a bit, makes you feel a bit ill. Sorry,
Yeah.
Sylvester Stallone. But
Yeah, maybe just retire, dude. You've got enough money, surely. Does he need the money?
I don't know. If you see him on social media as well, it's a lot of it's just like him putting weird stuff on about his daughters and like how success, like they're getting into modelling and how excited he is by that and stuff.
Oh, okay.
It's all that weird kind of stuff. So yeah, don't look at that. Other bit of film news is about a film being made. There's a chase scene for a film coming in a Cumbrian town, and it was mostly just interesting because I hadn't heard about the film. It's going to be called The Voyage of Dr. Dolittle, and
Oh, yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. is playing him.
Yeah.
Antonio
Yeah.
Banderas is in it as well, and they're shooting it in Cumbria in Kirkby Lonsdale between May 15th and 17th. So on the absolute massive coincidence, anybody listening to this is near there. You know, go out. You might see Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
or that guy.
That's
Nearly
got a huge
Sylvester
cast.
Stallone.
Do you
there.
remember?
Oh, yeah, it's
I can't
got
remember who's in it, but it was
quite
ridiculous.
a lot of people because we've covered
Emma
it before.
Thompson, Tom
Yeah.
Holland, Ray Fiennes, Selena Gomez,
There we go.
computer animated. So I don't know. That might be not terrible. Coming out next April, they think, which is a long time away.
Well,
Yeah, it's
So
really
yeah,
isn't
that'll
it,
be
actually?
interesting to see. I feel like I haven't seen Antonio Banderas as anything in a while either, so
Yeah.
it's interesting to see him about. Last bit of film news is more kind of just general film industry stuff. That Australia have allotted $105 million to compete in the film location market, and they're also changing their tax rebate from 16.5% to 30%. So it's just interesting that, you know, I also saw something about New Jersey doing a similar thing. So more and more kind of countries are trying to attract these blockbusters to shoot there. So we'll see kind of what that kind of progresses like in the future, but that's an interesting one.
Yeah.
If anyone's thinking about working on this kind of stuff, you know, they're moving all over the shop.
yeah. Well,
Yeah, no, that sounds
I
interesting.
think it's going to bring nearly 200 million in new foreign investment to the local economy.
bloody hell.
Good.
3,000 jobs for Australians. So yeah, good for Australia.
Nice roundup.
Soph, don't do it.
Oh,
Don't do it.
yeah,
Oh,
shut
oh,
Don't
up.
do it.
Oh,
No,
Don't do it.
we're going over to Soph on the news
that wasn't
wall.
even.
So close to
So?
win.
Yeah,
what news have we got?
you're actually holding your head like you got a little mic piece thing
That's what's
going.
most annoying.
Yeah.
Ah.
So, just some really quick news. Peter Rabbit, the sensation that caused a bit of controversy, is back to cause chaos in a sequel.
I avoided that one. I thought it was a bit depressing.
Yeah, that is that the one that you said was depressing. See, it's obvious that they were going to do that just because of the amount of Peter Rabbit stories that they can jump off from.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure how many more of these they can make. Because again, the audience is like, what, from 3 to...
And it's definitely not Peter Rabbit isn't as kind of seminal in your childhood as it was like 50 years ago. I'm not sure how many kids are already reading, or 20 years ago, whatever it might be.
Yeah, I was obsessed with it when I was younger. I had the books.
But I don't think like did every kid watch
Yeah,
read
no one
Peter
else
Rabbit
did.
books. You know what I mean? Whereas like
Yeah.
40 years ago it might have been something everybody did. Even Roald Dahl books I don't think are as big now for kids as they
No.
were when I was a kid.
No.
Everybody read them all when I was a kid, it feels
Yeah.
like. Other than except to the primary school I went to, but that was a separate issue.
I don't really
I don't know if
remember
anyone knew how to
any
read.
more Roald Dahl stories. Trying to think of any that would be made into a film. The only one I can remember is Stick in the Dump.
I was watching
Was that even...
Oh my god.
That wasn't Roald Dahl.
Was it not?
No, it wasn't. But I was obsessed with it. I made cookies in the face of
Is that
all the
Rudyard
characters.
Kipling?
No.
I don't know.
It was someone random. BFG was in a film recently with
Yeah, Steven Spielberg did that film.
yeah, I've watched a bit of it. It was actually all right, but kids, my little brothers were bored out of their mind, so it seemed to hit a bit better with older kids. That like it doesn't so much. There wasn't much to catch the attention span of kids now. We're all playing like, Fortnite at the age of 8 and better than most 25-year-olds.
Did you refer to yourself as an older kid then?
I meant like, yeah, I guess so. Or like when I was older, when I was a kid. All right, shut up.
Keep the dream alive.
Okay, so Avengers Infinity War, we've been keeping each other up to date with how much it's dominating the box office. It's managed to take a strong 1.16 billion in the bank, and it's still got a few countries left to debut, with China looking to deliver a strong response. It's probably not going to be likely to dethrone Titanic or Avatar, but still a huge smash in comparison to anything else.
Yeah, we were saying earlier, it had the second biggest weekend ever. Just
Yeah.
beat Black Panther. I can't remember what it was second to, but it was kind of quite far behind the first film.
It
Was Star Wars Last Jedi, yeah. But it's
Oh, yeah.
still kind of... The drop-off as well from first weekend to second weekend was less steep than the previous Avengers film and stuff.
Yeah, which means next year it's going to be interesting for Avengers 4, because it's got to be the same, right?
Well, you'd think so, yeah.
Yeah.
They just keep going up and up.
Well, speaking of superheroes,
Oh, go
Yeah,
on. Segue.
J.J.
Segue.
Abrams produced a new superhero movie, The Heavy, and has directed Julius Avery in negotiations. Do you know who that is? You guys know directors.
No.
No.
Overlord, he directed? I don't know. But it says that Daniel Casey wrote the script for the new film, but it's being strictly under wraps for now. We've just got that coming.
He's good at starting new stuff, J.J. Abrams.
Oh,
so
yeah,
it's probably an
yeah.
interesting one. When he stays on stuff, that's where it doesn't quite work as much, but...
Which is why I'm interested to see Star Wars 9. Because he's back on to direct that now.
Oh, yeah.
When's that coming out? Is that the one the end
Not
of
this
year?
year, next year.
Oh, all right, fine.
Like December 2019.
No interest until then. Still sticking on, I suppose, superheroes. Groot's final line in Infinity War has been revealed, and it's devastating. So obviously he says, "I'm Groot," but when the cast get it, they get that his side and an English transcript of it.
That's interesting.
Okay.
So they always know what he said, and the final thing that he said was "Dad." James Gunn, no, it wasn't. Yeah, James Gunn revealed that he said "Dad" as in he was scared saying it to Rocket, referring to Rocket as his dad. And I just thought it was really upsetting.
Well, there's a big news story recently, wasn't there, about Tom Holland's thing being improvised?
Yeah.
It was that was very big. People were jumping on about how impressive that is.
Yeah, there was a couple of bits in there that were improvised. I said it to Matt this morning. Tom Holland said that I'm your backup, and Robert Downey Jr. was like, the adults are talking, and like shut him down, but apparently that wasn't supposed to be in the script either.
Yeah.
But they clearly bounce well off each other.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's
Do you
that.
want to refer to what people have been calling Tom Holland? On
full
Twitter.
course meal. Go on, lad. And the last little bit of news, the Purge TV series
Oh.
will mostly take place during Purge night. It says prepare to be terrorised, and people are just confused how they're supposed to do it, because what's the point in doing a film and then an entire series about it? But it says that it's supposed to focus on what happens on the other 364 days of the year and how that law affects people. So that could be an interesting side of it.
Yeah.
It just depends how many more Purge films they're trying to milk out.
Yeah.
But I thought it could be interesting, because obviously we've had Scream turn into a series, like a horror
yeah, we've
thing.
had a couple of things do that recently,
Yeah.
haven't we? For the life of me, I can't think of any as I say
Name
it.
them.
But yeah, like The Mist, that was another one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched a bit of that. It was passable.
Trying to desperately think of any other ones. Nope, they're all gone.
All gone.
I'm thinking mainly Netflix stuff that they've been doing that with.
Yeah, and there's a few seasons. There's certain reasons why season 2 coming back in a week and a half, which
Oh
I
yeah,
cannot.
May 18th.
My God. And The
Yeah,
Sinner
I'm
season
looking forward
2.
to that. The Sinner. Oh, that's the one
Jessica
with
Biel.
Jessica Biel. Yeah,
Season
you said
2
it was
has
really
been
good.
announced. No idea how that's going to work. And on Netflix you can now watch the Angry Birds movie.
Oh yeah.
if you want.
Hey.
Yeah.
If you ever want to do that.
Also, just before we go into the, is that your news?
That's
Sorry,
done,
beep,
yeah.
beep, 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 thank you.
That's all you wanted to do.
Yeah, no. No, I wanted to talk quickly just because we just watched The Jungle Book last night.
Yes.
It's something we said on the podcast that we wanted to watch before, probably many episodes ago. I don't know
Yeah.
if anyone knows that we did say that.
The
Then
recent
thank
one.
you. But
Yeah.
yeah, the recent one.
It was really good, yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
The
Have you
only-
seen it yet?
Some
Oh,
bits and pieces, but not through.
yeah, no, I was really impressed with the CGI and everything, apart from one thing, which was, do you mind if I get, it's not really a spoiler.
Sorry, yeah. It's the
but-
Jungle Book. I've seen it.
But, King Louis, you know, the orangutan, for some reason, he is huge.
He is massive.
Like he's
ridiculous.
like literally
Oppressed.
10 times the size of what he should be.
I see.
It's
yeah,
I mean,
like
I-
Baloo the bear, and then it's like
You'd think
9
there'd be
of
a
them.
reason for it, though. Have you looked?
Yeah.
I mean, it's strange because that's when it comes to doing animals. I'm pretty sure they do quite a lot of attention to detail. So I think they would have realized that if they did like scale was 10 off. So maybe
yeah.
maybe it was like a deliberate thing where they wanted to seem more intimidating or like more.
I think so, yeah, because there's a specific kind of scene afterwards where he's kind of chasing him.
Oh, yeah, it's
And,
terrifying.
Yeah, that's kind of terrifying. But and it's like one of those, you know, where it's like a maze of sort of, it's like a normal room with a load of pillars, and
Yeah.
someone's kind of hiding behind pillars and stuff, and he's kind of just going through them all and stuff.
Yeah, just smashing him and reaching his arm around.
Yeah.
The only thing I didn't like about it was it's like, oh, the Jungle Book, and voiced by Scarlett Johansson as the snake, and she says like 3 lines. And you're like, oh, this has got good voice acting, and then she's in it for that little bit, and it's just like,
I know a lot of
okay.
people found her a bit jarring in the Isle of Dogs as well because
Yeah,
her
she
voice
is.
she's so distinctively Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
It's like as a voice actor, that's almost a bad thing because you're suddenly just like taken out the film because you're like, oh,
Yeah, it doesn't quite work. It didn't work for the snake either. It doesn't.
No, I was gonna say the only voice performance, of hers.
She's
that I
great in
do
Her.
like- Yeah, I love that film. It's really good. Have you seen Her?
No.
It's about Joaquin. Well, it's not him. Joaquin.
Joaquin.
Joaquin. That's
We got
That's very bad.
sorry.
That's awful.
Yeah. Well, Joaquin Phoenix is in the future, kind of like not too far in the future, and they've got like AIs that they can kind of talk to and relate to and stuff, and he kind of gets involved in a relationship with this AI.
Okay.
She just meant to help him. She was entirely recast as well. I think it was originally
Yeah.
Emily Mortimer, was it, or something
I
like
can't
that?
remember who the original actress
I
was,
think
but
it
they
might
shot
be.
the whole film with her, and then they just went, "Now we'll give it to you."
They
No
just didn't
way.
think, didn't think she kind of worked the original, so they redid it with Scarlett Johansson.
Oh, great.
Which, to be fair, you can with the voiceover thing like that. But no,
Yeah,
that's a
but-
really good film. That'd be a good
Spike
film
Jones
to do on the
directed it
podcast.
as well, yeah.
Yeah.
Good director. Did a lot of music videos earlier on.
Oh yeah.
Got more to say about this.
I know. Yeah. Anyway, well, let's go on to the main film, shall we?
Yes.
Do you want to explain why we picked it? So,
So,
it's your
yeah.
choice.
So I think you should. So
You have to take the lead.
film review. Sorry, just adding stuff.
Oh.
That's got like you've got to cut that out.
in. No.
I don't want to be a part of
Oh,
this
no.
if you don't cut it out. I think Dale's with me
Put
on
our
that.
foot down.
All right.
You can do a
I
full
won't cut it
podcast
out, but I
alone.
won't do it again. How about that?
No, I don't take that deal.
You'll lose 2 people. You'll be doing this on your own. It wouldn't work.
You can do the jingles all the jingles you like then.
But anyway.
No, we're just messing.
The Inbetweeners movie was chosen because a couple of days ago it marked 10 years since the Inbetweeners series started airing on E4, Channel 4? Channel 4.
Channel 4.
And the series follows a group of 4 lads and a couple of their mates and
British
parents.
teenagers.
Yeah, and they're just their most relatable characters going through really weird situations through school. So then the film,
The bottom end of the social rung, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're not the weirdest kids, but they're not quite right in every situation.
You know what they are?
What are they?
They're the in-betweeners.
They're not.
Because they're in between everyone else.
Yeah, like they'll just about get invited to a party, but they're the kids being weird and uncomfortable there.
yeah, they'd invite them to make themselves look cooler, I think. But anyway, the sixth form has just finished and they're all finishing for summer. So they decided to go on a summer holiday as the Pussy
as
Patrol.
the Pussy Patrol.
And that is the one part of the film that I cringe at the most. So we just follow them going to Malia.
The most.
I know, yeah.
We follow them to Malia and everything they get up to on this boozy
Lads holiday. Which is a very kind of British thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
The bunch of like 5 teen just about age to drink go away to the club nights and try and get laid as much as possible.
Yeah, pretty much. So what did you think of it?
Yeah, it's good. Like, you have to kind of take context into play as well, because you've got 3 seasons of character development of these characters kind of going into this film as well. So you kind of know who they are as you go into the film.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's a pretty solid kind of continuation.
You start saying solid now.
No,
Sorry,
I think it's a good continuation of the story, and it's like managing to capture, because with the episodes of the TV series, they were only like half an hour, weren't they?
Yeah, about 25 minutes.
Yeah, so this is like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, about that.
It's just like a TV special.
Yeah, because
really.
it was a bit of a gap in between, and everyone was like, oh yeah, we need more of them in our lives.
Yeah, no.
That's what's cool about it from a business point of view as well. It's like they shot it for like 3 million, we said earlier.
Yeah.
And then they decided to go above just the TV special, but their box office was like 60 million, so it was very really profitable avenue they went down with it, which is why they made the second one, unfortunately.
Yeah, we won't go into that one. I've still I think I will see it at some point.
It's on YouTube.
Is it? She panicked halfway through saying that.
Yeah, no, I didn't want to get it taken down because I want to watch it later.
Who's going to be monitoring to watch?
So no.
Mr. YouTube will be like, no.
Is that how he sounds?
Yeah, that's Mr. YouTube's voice.
No.
What did you think, Dil?
I thought it was I kind of like, first off, I have to preface this with a long explanation about that, like, that kind of cringe comedy stuff is always something I found really uncomfortable and not really been able to sit through.
Yeah.
So I've got better as I got recent, but as I've got older, as I've got recent. But like, I think there's better ways to be funny, and it's always just kind of upsetting to me, because I'm just like, I have a bit too much kind of empathy for, like, imagine being the people in this situation, and then, like, I don't know, I always found that difficult rather than funny. So I can, like, appreciate it but not love it personally. So yeah. I thought it was I like the film. I think it's like a good little story for the way they set up, and they hit a lot of the beats that people love from the show.
Yeah. And
it's a lot about kind of like the relationship between them, with like the kind of, they're still teenage boys, so they're taking the mick of each other constantly, but there's like a kind of tenderness underneath with their relationships.
Yeah.
And they keep that going really well throughout. So I think it was a successful film for what it is.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've always been a fan of it since it came down. You saw it in the cinema. I didn't.
Yeah.
But once I got on DVD, I wouldn't stop watching it. We were doing, when we were at college, and I had my final show with all my artwork, I used to sit in my room and just have that on in the background on repeat for hours, like non-stop. And I don't know why. I think it's probably just because it's more of a feel-good film. It's not like you have to watch it and you get something out of it. It's just something light-hearted in the background where something funny will happen.
There isn't too much consequences, and you can dip in and out and
Yeah.
just be like, oh, this bit, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I love all of the Inbetweeners. And the casting is really good as well.
Yeah. It's like we've had like 3 seasons to get to know them as well. So it's like by that point, if you're gonna watch this film, you're invested in who they are.
Yeah, and where they get up to, because there was like a reunion that was confirmed a couple of weeks ago, and people were freaking out. They were either going to do a third Inbetweeners film or a 4th series, but it just doesn't make sense to do the series because the series wrapped off at the end of school, and the films followed them on the holiday at uni, and then wherever they are now.
Yeah, I feel like the in-between, because we were just talking about it when we were out before, about series and how some of them run a little bit too long. I feel like the 3 seasons of that, and it's only like 6 episodes per season as well. It's like it captures a bit of gold because it's like, oh, I wish there was more, but at the same time you don't, because it's...
I think that's the great thing about British series in general as opposed to American ones. Like you think about The Office and even things like Misfits and stuff like that. I know some of them went too long, but like Skins probably, but as a rule, I think American shows tend to just keep going because they're still making money and get a bit kind of laboured, but whereas British ones tend to be like, I think as well, a lot of the actors don't, like a lot of the people involved won't just, you're not going to keep getting much bigger paychecks, so you're going to want to move on to different stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas in American ones, they'll just keep throwing more and more money at people if it's making money. But yeah, I see what you mean. It definitely wrapped yourself in a nice bow. They could definitely try and come up with an excuse to do new series, like they come back from a uni and move in together or whatever, but it's whether the people would actually want to do it. And it's a lot more like, you know, the creatives behind it. If they're not on board with the idea, they don't want to do it, then it's not going to happen.
Yeah. No, I don't think, obviously you two haven't seen the second one. Did you say you didn't see the
I've
second
seen
one?
like the first half an hour.
But yeah, I think because that didn't get as much of a praise.
No.
People are thinking, oh yeah, I'd love to see them in something again, but there's no point in having high hopes for it. I just think you should have stopped at the film and then left them on to
the
do
first film?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just leave them to do their own thing, because no one's going to want to see them in a relationship or having kids, because then it's like, it's not.
See, the only way I'd do that is if they came back to it in 20 years.
Yeah, I was just thinking
and it'd
that'd
be
be
the same
interesting.
people. That'd be really good.
Like Will's End style type thing. Do you know
Yeah.
where like they all come back together?
Yeah, I
And,
suppose
like,
that would work.
They've got kids. Like it'd be interesting to see Jay at that point. Like, is he still such a monumental bullshitter? Which is like the only way to describe him, really.
Oh, yeah.
Or like, does he kind of temper himself with a kind of when he has to work and live in the real world? Because there is a, you know, you don't really live in the real world when you're that age, so it's a very specific time, and there's a very
Yeah.
specific like kind of joking about in social kind of conventions and situations in play for that age as British teenagers, which we can all kind of associate with a lot,
Yeah.
but doesn't work as well once you get older and everybody's kind of like post uni. People can be doing all sorts of different stuff. So
Yeah, I think with Jay in particular, like his dad is a complete arse with him. He takes Mick, says that he doesn't get any girls, just embarrasses him. I reckon that Jay is probably just trying to big himself up because his dad makes him feel so small. So when he's older, if his dad's out of the picture, he might be a bit more chilled out. Because in the second
he gets a
film,
bit
he's a lot more toned down because of
So
finding.
that'd be really
that
interesting
other girl.
if they kind of went, maybe not the opposite with that, or they kind of did the development of, like, he wants to be a better father than his father was, so when you come back to him in 20 years, he's actually a really good dad, but he's also actually built himself up as a businessman, but he's everything that he says now
well, a lot of
is,
it comes out of
is
his
real.
Is actually, yeah.
insecurity, doesn't it? And like him not knowing his place. So if he does find a place in the world, whereas I think Will could be interesting because Will's got these big lofty ambitions and he's so judgmental and superior. Whereas say he gets in the world and he doesn't make it there,
Yeah.
he could become the kind of JN character as the extreme kind of the one who the rest are kind of seeing as the, do you know what I mean? Because there's always the one within the group who's the undermined one. So it'd be interesting if they came back to it. That's the kind of the direction I think it'd be interesting to go in.
Yeah.
Would be to make Will the one who doesn't succeed the way he had, and you know he doesn't have the hot mum for them to kind of everyone to joke about. So it'd be interesting to see them kind of place him in that social group.
Yeah. That'd be interesting.
He was like a down on his last
Just
like
thought of a
bank
really
manager.
dark way to open up that series, and they all meet up for like the
The
funeral.
funeral. Yeah, I thought that's how
Funeral
you
of
go.
somebody's,
But
yeah.
Jay's still making cracks about his mum. Oh no, yeah, that'd be the kind of humour they would do as well.
Yeah, I reckon they could.
Actually,
follow
going back to the humour, actually, because you brought up about the cringiness of it. I can't stand watching cringy humour like
No.
that. Most of the film, I was just sat there with like my shirt over my face
Yeah.
because I literally
He was
can't.
still laughing out loud.
Oh yeah,
though, like,
I
you
think there's
still-
some really good parts in it as well, and that do make me laugh. But at the same time, some bits they'll still make me laugh, and I'm like, oh no, and I literally can't watch the screen.
Yeah, see, I don't get that. I think with, other than when they refer to themselves as pussy patrol, but only when Jay says it, the pussy patrol, and like he fully goes into it. The dancing up to the girls isn't cringy to me. It's just funny. There's parts where I like wince a little bit, but I never find it uncomfortable to watch. But I think it's just because I've had all those friends in a friend group myself. I've had a bullshitter. I've had many people like Neil.
Yeah.
You know,
Jesus.
it's like,
Just
and
kinda
I always
dopey
feel like
but
Will
sweet.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Because there's a part in the film where Neil says he hasn't got his swimming trunks, and Jay's like, just go in your shorts, and he goes, can I, Will? And like asks him like as a dad.
Yeah.
And I always felt like that in school.
Yeah.
People would be like, oh, can we do this? And I'm like, yeah, sure.
I think I was just like, I'd watch and I'd be like, all right, see that one moment there, that is who that person is for the next 5 years of their life, and
Yeah.
they're never going to be able to recuperate from that. And just watching that would be like, I was just like, oh, I can't like rightly take any kind of pleasure from this, because this is the worst thing in someone's life. Like, it just felt so real, like more so than really kind of dark, violent, heavy stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's so real, because it's so relatable in the stuff that they're doing. That's where I think I found it more like painful to watch, because I was like, I can imagine somebody doing that. I can imagine me doing that. I can imagine someone I like
Yeah.
doing that. And then I know in the real world, the consequences of that would be they'd be like shunned, and that would be their label forever.
Yeah.
So I find it more like kind of hard to see that way.
Yeah, I feel like that's the bit that kind of carries over from the series as well, because there's one particular joke that's in there where they're at the swimming pool, and they're at the girls' swimming pool, so it's like a different hotel they're in, and Jay takes some people's beds, you know, because they've left towels
Yeah.
on there, and then it turns out they were left there because a disabled girl was supposed to be there, and it's just because there's another part in the series.
I was going to mention.
Yeah, in Alton Towers, where he's like, "Why can't we go on the front?" And then they go there, and there's some disabled people, and he's like, "Oh,
Of course they are.
yeah."
Disabled, of course she is.
I know. I think that's why I like that part so much, because even though I'm still cringing at the same time, it's it's like Will saying it is like, you know, because he's been through it before as well. So he's like, "Oh yeah, of course she is," even though it's like such a horrible. Well, not horrible. Well, I suppose it is horrible.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Kind of situation.
It also
to be
happens in the series as well, when they're in the park and they're playing frisbee. And then, who is it? I think it's Simon or Will. They throw the frisbee and it smacks a girl in the head that's sat in a wheelchair.
Yeah, it does.
Do you remember?
I don't
I
remember
remember
that. No.
Oh, and it smacks her and she's crying, and then a couple of them run off and they decide to go and get the frisbee off her, even though they just smacked her in the head, and it's just they've just got a bit of a track
Oh,
record
dear.
with that. And they also follow Carly and Simon's tragic. So
Oh,
Simon's
she is
in
the
love.
worst.
Yeah, she is. Simon's in love with Carly.
Actually, no. Simon's the worst.
Simon's worse than Carly.
He was in love with her throughout. Finally, got her right at the end of third season series, and then she breaks up with him, and then he's just pining after her the entire film.
Yeah. And oh yeah, there's some horrible moments in that where
I didn't see, that's where it felt inconsistent to me, because it was like, he's still a teenage guy and this very attractive girl is throwing herself at him. Like, you forget your ex in a heartbeat there. It doesn't matter how hung up you are on her.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, right, I'm not on board with this. Either he's the biggest, like, I know he's very sensitive, so I was like, I get that kind of, it could work with his character. I think I was mostly just annoyed at him.
Yeah.
I was just like,
I
what are you
was annoyed
doing?
at him as well. But
What are you doing? She's right there. She's right.
Literally wants you. Like,
She's,
yeah.
She could not make it clearer. She could have a stamp on her head saying, "Simon, come grab me," and it wouldn't be any more blatant than what she's doing right now. And you're just hung up on Carly, who's less fit anyway.
You think maybe we're supposed to
Yeah.
like take the context of the series into that, because obviously like one of the first episode kind of show how much he loves her.
Oh yeah, that makes
Oh,
sense
yeah.
with him.
Yeah.
But I still
Yeah.
think, I don't know.
It does build up, but as like seeing the second, I said to Matt, like seeing the second Inbetweeners film, they've built her up to be like this innocent girl, Lucy, but you can see that she gets irritated when the attention's off her, and in the second one she's a complete psycho. So you can see it like built
That's interesting,
up
yeah.
through that. But yeah, it sort of shows how hung up he is on Carly. There's not really that many other callbacks to it.
It's what I think. It's just what they did really well is it does those discussions you have where you're justifying those terrible decisions.
Yeah.
That's where the show works, and that's where the film kept working as well. where, you know, they'd be put in those situations and you'd understand how they'd end up there, like how they'd end up going in that club that turned out to be a crap hole because of the promoter talking him into it.
Yeah.
And then how they'd end up being like, should we dance up to those girls? And then like being like, that would end up, that decision would be made, and then that would be the time. Like, it all follows because of how well written it is and how well they pull it all off.
Yeah.
Because it could just, in other situations, like I know they're Americans are doing a remake of it. They tried the TV show, and now they're doing a film as well.
Oh, are they?
Called Virgins America or something. I'm sure that was on Wikipedia as the actual title. And it's just not going to work because there isn't the same... there isn't the same humour over there that we have here, and there isn't the same difficulties within youth, in my experience.
Yeah.
That like, I just don't think it's going to translate perfectly.
Yeah.
Like, they tried to do the IT crowd over there, and it just didn't play because there isn't the same humour in that kind of very specific context that we all kind of get.
Yeah, there's another one, Shameless. They also did, but it's
That was
actually
quite
it's actually
successful.
really successful over there as well.
Yeah.
But that's because they pivoted. The characters were different in an American context. And the world they're in is like, you know, it's a similar situation with like the kind of poorer working class lot, but they found the right American context to fit the British one, and they didn't just throw it right across.
Yeah,
so that can be done well.
Even though it's not entirely the same thing. We were talking about this before as well with the Impractical Jokers crossover, but it's going to the UK instead. And because they have that sort of context between each other of how they're such good friends and they've kind of known each other 20 years, you can't just take that concept and bring it over here or put it anywhere else.
In the British one, they've just put 4 discrete celebrities together, haven't they? Like a TV presenter, a comedian, who else is there? Whoever, but basically they met for this job. And it's a job to them, whereas the Impractical Jokers, like, clearly it's like a passion project for them, and they were just a bunch of 4 random dudes, and that kind of camaraderie is what makes it.
Yeah. The only thing about the Inbetweeners film that I didn't really like is throughout it, Neil's talking about his girlfriend back home, and he's like, "Oh, it's not cheating, it's just a tip. It's not cheating, we're not kissing." And then he goes through and he sleeps with the dinner lady, he fingers a couple of a couple of old women.
Kitty don't bite, now she's been fed.
Johnny Vegas. But there's...
Come on, me bastard!
All right.
Johnny Vegas.
But there are moments where you're laughing at that situation, you're kind of cringing, and at the end he says to the other girl, you know, she split up with me, that's why I've been showing off in front of all my mates. So it's all right if we do get off together. And it turns out that he's still with that girl back at home, and you've just been laughing and going along with him cheating on this girl back at home.
Yeah.
And it's just sort of weird that you go along with it, whereas if it was in any other film, you'd be like, what an absolute arse.
Yeah.
But in this context, same with their girl, their blonde girl. She's
you brought up that point.
with Nico. You know how she's with that guy Nico, and then she just strips naked and puts Will's hand on her breast, and she's like, "That's it till next year." But then she has a go at the other guy for being someone else. It doesn't really. Yeah, she's not sleeping with him.
Because in hers, it's a charity thing. It's not a pleasure. It's like a, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but either way, like
it's a weird moral distinction. Yeah, that's where you can tell the show's been written by guys more than girls.
Yeah.
Because it's the same with a lot of things, but they're just, the characters aren't quite as well fleshed out, the female ones as well.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of the times I was watching, I was like, well, why would she still be why would these girls have any... like, there's hundreds of other dudes on this island.
Yeah.
Most of whom are probably, like, you know, gym freak knobheads, but they would not, like, after that first night, they won't be like, oh, should we meet at the hotel then? Oh, yeah, cool, we'll hang out again.
Yeah, no.
It'd be like, this is, I hope I never see you again.
Especially after such a disastrous...
That's what I mean. So it's just like, it did feel like the girls were kind of there as proxy human beings for what the guys needed in that situation.
Yeah.
Rather than as kind of fleshed out characters, but it's
Damn
happening.
It,
it's happening. As properly developed characters in themselves. Oh no, you still not allowed to do it, Matt.
Oh,
I made a mistake.
I'll try.
I made a mistake.
So is the only part you didn't like then?
Well, it's not even that I don't like them. It's just I can't stand cringy humour, and it does have it quite a lot throughout this. And to be fair, like, you have to expect that because it's that sort of product.
Yeah.
And I know what I'm getting into, so I still enjoy the film. It's just I can't sit through those bits like comfortably.
Did you like the little get back on the? Is it James, the promoter, the main guy who?
Yeah. James.
How he gets him back, Jay? Did you think that was funny? I really didn't like that. It felt kind of temporary and ineffective as a get back, but I just was just like, how you've had that there for the whole. You're the real loser. Like, and plus when he finds you, he's gonna end. Like, if he finds that out, he's gonna end you.
Yeah.
So just that as a whole little. Like, Joe, that's meant to be his triumphant moment.
Yeah.
The whole thing was kind of marred for me because I was just like, you could have done a better triumphant moment than this.
Because even you were like, oh, it'd be a lot dirtier than that if it was pulled out your ass.
Yeah, it would, wouldn't it? If he's been there the whole time.
Oh god, yeah, it'd be fucking terrifying. But
Well, I understand why he did it, and he wouldn't make such a big commotion because he's now all loved up.
What's
And
that?
it was nice to see the transition, though, between him being like, oh, sorry, darling, and being all, like, nice with her, because he's
Yeah.
never really had that connection with anyone.
I just don't think it's that kind of film either, where there's some kind of some massive big comeuppance of someone like that, because we've not been led to expect that through the series. So why would you expect?
Yeah, they've always had their ass handed to them, really, haven't they?
Yeah.
this may be more of a teenage gripe as well, but I remember at the time I was like, well, I know it's like every film as well, but every one of these girls is way too hot to be with any of these dudes.
Yeah.
So it's just like, this is already inconsistent. I really liked Greg Davis's little cameo at the end.
But on the bit
As
on
the
the...
teacher, Mr. Gilbert.
Yeah, the one where he's on the
Yeah,
cart and stuff.
came in for
It's
one.
funny just thinking that they flew him out there, like, you know, in like a production kind of thing, like coming outside of the film, thinking they flew him all the way there
For
just to do that
moment.
one shot.
Yeah. And maybe there was
Right.
whole scenes of it, but they just like the funniest way to do it would just be to stick him
Have
in.
that. Yeah.
Just stick him in here. And like at that time he was kind of a nobody, and now he's kind of like quite a big name comedian and does his own kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's funny to kind of think back to why I just thought of him as an actor, and he's perfect. He's amazing in the actual TV series as
Yeah.
well, as the kind of cold, dead, like the brutal teacher who has no regard for kind of the feelings of anybody.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
So like he was so good in that series, and then to see him as a comedian and like kind of actually like a really friendly, kind of excitable,
he's
childish
lovely,
kind
isn't
of
he?
guy. He's adorable.
Yeah.
Like that was kind of a fun thing for me.
Yeah. There's a couple of... There's Kesha, as they first turn up.
Oh,
Kesha's
yeah.
on the stage dancing. With
Kesha
her,
the singer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
her song Blow is in the background, and then it just sort of pans to her, and then she's like dancing, then winks, and then that's it. That's all you see of her. But it's so weird that she's just in that for like 4
Yeah, it's like,
seconds.
I'll give you the rights to the song,
If
just
I'm
as
in the
long
film.
as you can put me in the film.
Yeah, so that was weird to
I
me.
know Kesha's a comedy fan because there's an amazing like 4-second clip of like she runs up to Jerry Seinfeld at a red carpet and she's like, "Oh my god, I'm your biggest fan. Can I give you a hug?" And then he's like, "Oh, I'd rather not, thank you." And then just kind of turns back to the interviewer, just kind of like looks at her, and he was just like, "Oh," because like clearly he's
What?
uncomfortable with it or whatever. But he was just like, I'm ready rather not." But he didn't really
Oh.
joke it. And then you just see her like soul die. So I mean, it's funny if you're a psycho like me.
Jeez.
I think that I'm fairly sure that was Kesha. It was definitely someone alongside Kesha, like a similar thing. I'll check.
There
Oh,
is a
wow.
character that beats any of the Inbetweeners and any of the girls, and that is Richard.
Oh,
Richard, mate.
you're
Richard.
mate. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Kesha.
Can I have a show at yours? Yeah.
Yeah. He was great just because he seems like any other guy that you'd see outside of a club that's off his tits. It's just like, and at the end he flies out his parents.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He gets Neil to go over and see his parents and stuff.
He's super relatable, Richard. Everyone knows a Richard. If you go on a night out in England, there's like at least a Richard a night. just like a guy who's like, "Oh, what are you guys doing after this? You're going to an after?" It's just like, "No, I'm just going home."
Yeah.
And it's just like, "Oh, are you sure? I know a great thing." It's just like, "Oh, I'm okay, thanks, mate."
Yeah, and Neil seems like the type to just be brought in because he's such like a
He's like, "Oh, right,
weirdo
yeah."
himself. It's like, yeah, here's a can, and everyone's like, yeah, stay away from him. And I do like the fact that they've got pretty much a female version of Neil to be with him.
It's weird how much
You
he
know, the-
looks like him.
Yeah, same note. It's just weird.
It's like the twins in, although they're not technically twins and they're not even related, but you know, in Parks and Rec,
Yeah.
the John Ralphio.
Oh, John
and-
Ralphio and his sister. Yeah,
Yeah,
I know the actor. I know the real actor's name. I can't remember the name of the character. She's called. What's she called? Oh,
No,
this
I
is
can't
gonna
remember either.
Yeah, but
yeah,
that is
it's
good
weird how they
casting.
look so much alike.
The actor is
Yeah.
Ben Schwartz. He plays John Ralphio.
Oh, okay.
And she is called. You guys keep going. I'm gonna think about this. I'm going quiet for a while.
Yeah, no, there's only some kind of I like the Burnley chants.
Oh, Bernally.
Oh, Burnley.
It's wonderful.
It's
I
wonderful.
can't not sing that. If once it's stuck in my head, and like it won't be in any context in between us. I was singing it on the way back from B&Q
See
in
again.
the car.
That's just another beautiful like British thing as well as that like football chants. Like there's been some Mo Salah ones recently, who do you know the song "Good Enough" by Dodgy? Does anyone, do you know, you'll know the sound of it? Oh, I'm trying to remember what the actual chant is. Basically, Mo Salah is a Liverpool player who's a Muslim player who, like, Liverpoolians are kind of historically, like the stereotype is that they're kind of a bit racist and backwards that way. And the song is, basically the gist of it is just that if you keep scoring that we'll turn Muslim too and stuff. But just football chants are one of, like, the most one of the funniest ways the most kind of working class British people will get, like, real, like, solid wit across in these things, and everybody will jump on him. So I just like that. Again, this is, to me, these films are so, it's such a specifically British, like, thing that I like how they've stayed true to that the whole time.
Yeah.
Even with the holiday to Malia. Like, I know Americans have spring break, but it's not quite the same thing, because spring breaks are a bit kind of like, you know, for your Instagram, and you get your bunch of outfits sorted and stuff, and whereas these are just real great, like, real gross, grimy things.
Yeah, they really captured that with the, like, the settings that they were in as well, like
the hotel.
And though I've never been to those kind of places, so I've never actually seen it in person.
Yeah, but you could imagine that that's the place that I don't even think that many people would be as asked, because they're out drinking all day.
Yeah.
And drinking all night, and they'd just come back to pass out, or they'd be at someone else's hotel anyway.
Yeah, and you just
So
happily
really-
sleep on and you definitely share a room because you don't have the money between you at like 17, 18
Yeah.
to get like a room each, so there's 4 of you in a room, someone sleeping in the bath. Like, yeah, that's all very relatable.
Yeah. Except they're pooing on the floor. If
Oh,
that's
yeah.
relatable to you, then.
That's not like, passing out in the well or wherever he passes out. Like, yeah. I can get
Where the ants are.
that. The ant farm, yeah, that's
Yeah.
it.
God.
Speaking of the no, sorry, that's not even a segue.
No.
Shall we get into the 10-star
music.
movie
Yeah,
review?
sure.
Cool.
All right.
Dun,
So,
dun, dun.
just because we're
Don't-
already on.
Don't join in.
I don't know why I start now.
God damn, I'm the only one left, by the way.
You said
Done
flash
longer
out.
than I thought.
I did say fleshed out. I deserve punishment
You
for
do.
that.
I deserve
I
punishment.
didn't hear that properly. I thought you were still talking about Kesha, so I just heard you say you talked about Flesher, and I was like, oh no.
Oh, Jesus.
So this is the 10-star movie review where we put films through the ultimate test. For every question we vote yes, that film gets
1 star.
Hey.
1 star. The ultimate goal is
10 stars.
10 star. It's the 3 of us. The majority vote wins, though half stars are up for contention when necessary. And a small disclaimer, with the ratings we give don't always match our enjoyment or experience of the film. This is just a rating system.
Yes, it
Are
is.
you ready?
Yes.
Hey,
I
let's
don't
do
expect
it.
much
The
from
roll
this, but
time.
we'll see.
The tongue roll. Never mind. Question number 1. Sorry.
Go on. No,
Okay,
go for it.
we're doing it.
Yeah.
Does the story make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's pretty straightforward.
Hey.
Hey.
Wonderful.
Matt loved that then.
Oh, yeah. Question number 2. Did the script and the dialogue between characters feel natural?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
Way too
It's the
natural.
best thing. It's
Even-
probably the best one of any film we've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be fair. And even without the context of like the series and knowing the characters, I still feel it works well even without that.
Yeah.
Question number 3. Did you believe that the world of the film existed? 100% yes.
Did the
It
film have
does.
the scuba headgear scene, by the way, or is that from one of the TV series where Jay gets caught in his bedroom?
Yeah, it was this. It
Was
was
it in
Oh,
the-
yeah,
it was
right at the
opening
beginning.
Scene,
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
The
a
opening
that's a
ones.
quality
And
moment.
then his mum comes in and tells him that his granddad's died.
Yeah.
Good God.
The ham, the
cinema
snorkel,
history.
and the football glove.
Yeah.
It's the fact that he's talking with him in the corridor, and it's like, yeah, it's the worst one yet. Ham skew, and he's so open about the way he's tried different things.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Because the thing is, as a teenage guy as well, you had all those discussions about, like, you know, if you sit on your arm for half an hour, and then, like, that's much it's part of growing up.
yeah.
So, like, even as ridiculous as it gets with him, there's a relatability to it where, like, you can see where it's all coming from with these people.
Yeah. I hung out with guys enough to hear this sort of shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 3 stars so far. Question number
Sorry if
4.
you sat on your hand. I forgot about that.
Solid
Did
one.
you believe that the
Not
characters
that I know.
existed in the world of the film?
Yeah. Oh, Soph's got injured.
Oh,
laughing
you've
at me.
lost it. We've lost control. Here in
Yeah,
the
I
studio.
believe that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I agree with that as well. Did you get emotionally invested in the characters? I'm not that invested in them. Like I enjoy the series, and obviously I like them and stuff, but I don't feel specifically invested or attached to them as like in comparison to other characters in
Yeah.
other films and stuff. So I probably would give a pass for me.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I think the only person I root for is Will, and that's just because I want him to do well. That's just because I love him.
I think part of it is that you're not really meant to root for any of them.
Yeah.
Because they're all. I mean, Neil's the one I'd root for out of all of them. Because to me, Neil has, again, he's a moron, but he doesn't have a bad heart. He doesn't have malice when he's doing these things.
Yeah.
He's just incredibly stupid, and he just doesn't really. He's not capable of understanding consequences.
Yeah, I've got
and I know
ethics.
enough people like that.
Yeah, he's got ethics.
I know enough people who just don't have that mental process to like run through what they're doing
Yeah.
to know the
No, I
consequences of
understand
it. So if anybody, it would be Neil. But no, I don't think. To be honest, I don't think they're really meant to be people. They're very flawed, and you're meant to kind of be like, you're an idiot. You deserve what's happening to you.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. Question number 6. Excuse me. Did the film visually and audibly please you?
There's some shots I liked the way that they filmed certain things. I can't even think of the actual scene, but it goes from the sky and then it's the opening scene. It goes from the sky, pans down,
yeah.
pans through the room into Jay doing
And
Jay
like through the
stuff.
streets and stuff as well.
Yeah.
That's a nice shot. I feel like this, and this is a weird thing to say. I hope you can kind of understand it. But no, it's not. It's not that bad. It's like this is like the way that it's shot is just a generic film.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you get what
it's
I mean.
very Route
It's
One.
not. Yeah, it's not very kind of focused on the cinematography. It's just like this is the shot. This person needs to be here. This is how we get the story across. Boom.
Yeah.
And plus, like when you watch stuff like your Arrested Developments we were talking about earlier as well, they can use the camera to be part, like the camera is like a character and making jokes with the camera work and stuff.
Yeah.
And there isn't anything like that in here. It's just kind of frame the scenes, catch the dialogue, and kind of get enough reaction shots.
Yeah.
So yeah, and even visually, like they could have it wasn't one where they were in that many settings that was that spectacular. But when they were, like even off the cruise and stuff and on the ocean, it didn't
It's
look
still
very.
pretty basic.
Yeah, it was.
So I'd say no
Yeah,
for
I'd say no.
visually. However, for audibly, I feel like the score's done well enough for you to kind of get involved in
It's a
that
good
world.
soundtrack. Very
Yeah.
a lot of British things. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm maybe give this a half star. If
Maybe, yeah, just because the sound does work.
And it's perfectly serviceable visually as well. Like it's not like
yeah,
you miss
it's not
anything.
like it's bad or anything. It's just
Yeah.
like it's a film.
You know what? I'll agree with the half star over the two of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That seems fair.
Sweet. Half star for question 6. So question 7, were you diegetically absorbed into the film? I personally can't say no because of the level of like cringe humor.
You
because
can't say yes. Sorry.
yeah, sorry. So I kind of pull myself out of the film because I can't get into the film,
Yeah,
which is a weird
I
kind of
I
dilemma
very
to
much
be in.
understand that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say no.
I genuinely, like, if I'm watching a TV series, people find it really weird, but I genuinely can't sit still. Like, if I tried to watch it, I wouldn't be able to sit still either. I'd have to jump around the room and, like,
Yeah.
squeal and shit just to try and get myself through it, because it was that uncomfortable for me.
Yeah.
Because I just felt
Yeah.
every moment of every heartbeat of being in that situation. So, yeah, I can't give it the star either. I don't know whether, would you think you would want to give it Soph? Were you, because even
It's
when you're
hard
rewatching it, you're
yeah,
not really
it's hard
trying
for
to.
me to say. Like the first couple of times I was, and then there was moments where I dip in and out. But even today, like we were on our phones for part of it, taking notes or doing whatever.
Yeah.
But I still think that I am, despite knowing it literally word for word.
Yeah.
And-
I don't know. I'm kind
It
of
might just
thinking
be
maybe
the people in the room. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't quite. These kind of things don't work on us. Which
Yeah.
again, you gave the disclaimer at the start, so back off, people.
Yeah, maybe we don't then, because if you're not fully into it.
No, I was gonna say maybe a half star because you are still invested, like into watching the story and where it's going, and then trying to. Because remember, this film came out quite a long time ago, and I think because I watched it in the cinema as well, and I was like obviously invested in watching it then, and not kind of. Although I feel like I was turning away quite a lot. So no, fuck it. I
I
guess
do
that's,
remember.
No star.
No
It's for a
star.
lot, but
Yeah.
it's probably deserves it with this film.
yeah. Question number 8: did the film have a good ending? Yes. If anyone remembers the ending.
Yes.
I didn't like the reconciliation, and it felt again to me like, why would she, especially with Simon's, like, why would she still be here? Simon's shown nothing at all during this film for him to be worth this kind of attention from her.
Unless
Yeah.
she's that kind of girl who...
She's
just kind
pathetic, and I mean, like, not she's pathetic, but I just mean she should. I don't know. It wasn't a victory for me. It was she should know, she should be better than that, and if she's not,
Yeah.
then it's a sad thing.
Yeah,
So I
'cause-
think that just kind of ruined it for me. I was just like, oh, come on, I don't want this to happen. I don't want them to get together.
Yeah,
It
it's
hadn't
like she
built that
doesn't
for me.
value herself.
Yeah, really,
to-
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand that.
So I
Oh,
think
yeah.
for me, I didn't really want them to. I didn't really. Jay and the girl, I was kind of like, I was happy with that storyline. I think it was an interesting way to go about it, and I
Yeah.
liked the kind of development of Jay that entailed. Will and that girl just annoyed me the whole time because I was like, nope, she'd be gone. Nope, she'd be gone. Nope, why is she still sat here? Like, it just never played for me. There was no real chemistry there. I don't know whether that's a different thing with other people.
I would have thought there's chemistry there, but at the same time, she's like, oh, you're funny and you're consistent. But it's like,
So it
there
was
could be so many other guys that are funny and your level of good looking. Like
And it's
that, I know
very
it sounds
pitying.
shallow, but
Yeah, and
'cause I love Will, but
the pity is what, like, again, that's to me, like, if I was a guy, if I was Will in that situation, I would have the backbone to find that offensive rather than want it. I'd be
Yeah.
like, you don't be around me because you look down on me and I'm some charity case for you.
yeah.
So again, this is where the extra, like, the feeling every moment for me, like, me being in Will's situation, it would just really upset me to be
Would
that
you turn
person.
her down though?
Oh, fucking hell no.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So he's in that situation.
I wouldn't have got in that situation in the first place because the minute I got that pitying vibe,
Yeah,
I would have
okay.
been like, no, this isn't happening.
Yeah, good point.
So yeah, I mean, towards the end maybe, but the message of that, of the how, like, if a hot girl shows you any attention as a guy like that,
Persist.
just persist and chase her every beck and call.
Yeah.
Like, that to me isn't a positive thing.
No, not at all.
So the ending, I'm getting a bit away from that. But
Yeah.
the start, I didn't really like the ending because I didn't want them to get together, the people overall. So because of that, the ending wasn't a victory for me. It was a bit like, you should be better than that, and we shouldn't really be like applauding these people.
Yeah.
That's interesting, because I never really thought about it until you just said it then.
Yeah.
That's
So-
why
I suppose it's the same with Neil though. Again, like his girlfriend from back home, it shows shots of them all reuniting at the airport, and his old girlfriend's there waiting, and then he's there with his new girlfriend, and then they run off together because he's trying to hide it. It's like, that shouldn't be funny.
that's another
Yeah.
that
So-
girl's getting crushed right now.
Yeah, exactly. So it shouldn't be something that we think, oh, this is
So again,
funny,
this
this
is
is
where
a
it's
joke.
me being like, again, I'm not leaning into the comedy of it, and that's where being a bit of a sentimental git, but I always notice those things, and it just takes me out of the fun of the moment, because I'm just
Yeah.
like, that's just imagine being in her position, or imagine being in that. You know, there's always, especially in like rom-coms and stuff like that, you know, like the guy that the girl leaves, you know, there's always the reliable guy,
Yeah.
and then she goes for the main character who's some inconsistent arsehole.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that always kind of like throws me out of it. So again, I think that's why I kind of, the overall ending for me wasn't as success as it was for, as it's supposed to be. It's not a
Yeah,
happy
fair
ending, so I didn't
Yeah,
like
no,
it
I
that way.
understand that. I think talking about it more, I agree with you, but in the initial
Oh yeah, that's fine.
watching it, then you're like, huh, that's nice.
Yeah.
And you know it's probably going to lead on to something else, so it's,
Yeah, I'm 100% with you on that, really.
Cool.
yeah.
Do you want to give it the full star, or because we kind of see
Because
that now,
we
do you wanna
spoke
give it a
about it, I'd
half
probably
star?
say half rather
Half
than a
star.
full.
Okay.
Are you
Yeah.
keeping track?
I will do by the end. Question 9. Did you enjoy the film?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's new.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I
I've
thought
not
we'd
been
go
asked
with
that.
something that, maybe I'll change it again, but it's something more subjective, really. It's something that we kind of take away from it. And okay, did you enjoy the film? Or would you watch it again? Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, obviously,
Yeah,
yeah.
clearly.
Yeah.
I've seen it again before. Yeah.
I
You-
wouldn't watch it again, but I'd enjoy it. I definitely, and on the two of you, I'd give it the half in that case if that was the star, and on the two of you, it's getting the star.
Yeah.
But that's more of a cringe comedy thing for me, and not associating to the degree like Soph does and other people have with the characters. Because to me, they were, again, I didn't like the fact that they're always the bottom of the group, and a lot of it is reaching up and kind of just denigrating yourself to the people in top is the way they try and get by. And I don't like that.
Yeah.
I'd rather you just, be who you are and just sod everyone else than trying to get up that way in that whole social rung. So yeah, I'll give it the half, but it gets the one off you two.
Yeah. Yeah.
This
Yeah,
is a
I
fair
agree.
way for this
Yeah.
to go.
Yeah.
All right. And finally, question number 10, did the film have a personal impact on you?
No.
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 Nah.
It's not trying to be. It's just a bit
No.
of diverting
Yeah,
attention.
it's just to be honest, it's just a good
Feel good film.
Yeah, it's a feel-good film, and they managed to make a lot of money off it, so fair
Yeah.
play to them.
Yeah, good for them.
I actually can't tell. First time I watched it, when it first came out, it made me want to go on a holiday like that for some reason.
Yeah, I agree with
Despite
that.
it being
Even
like
with-
crappy, being sick everywhere, and I'm not like a massive drinker. When I watch it, I'm like,
It's the
that could
experience
be
of it.
interesting.
It's
yeah.
a whole like that's a moment in your life that you talk about for years to come, even if it's not the best.
Even if you don't remember most of it.
Yeah, it's just like everybody loves those stories where they're at their worst or their friends at their worst.
Yeah.
and you can look back on it as you know, when you're talking at work with a cup of tea or whatever. And be like, yeah, I had that side of myself.
Yeah.
That was fun. So yeah, I think I came out of that as well, being like, I need to go on a crazy holiday.
Yeah.
But that's more natural to me, probably.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of those. Kinda.
You just take a week off, me and Dale go and Ollie. Send you
Maga.
pictures like.
Mago, wherever.
Great.
Just quickly, because I forgot.
That was great, wasn't it?
The seventh question, diegetic. Did we give that the star or not?
I think we give it half, didn't we?
I
I
think
don't
we-
know. This is bad now because this is.
Roll back the tape.
No, jeez.
Yeah, roll back the tape. Okay, we did the tape. It either got 6 or 6.5 stars.
I think
I'm
probably,
pretty
I think
sure
it
it-
probably
Too
got the half.
Yeah, I feel like it did.
Okay,
It got 2 halves.
6 1/4.
throughout, I think.
it only got 2 halves.
I think so.
Okay, so it got 6 stars.
Oh, right. Okay.
'Cause
Okay.
we mustn't have given it to the diegetic
Okay.
one then.
We'll see.
Okay, 6 stars.
Cool.
That's
that
not
seems
too
fair,
bad.
to be honest. It's a good relaxing comedy film, especially if you're English, I think.
Yeah.
Or if
Oh,
you
yeah.
want to get a sense of being English, and if you're not, it's like that's what those years can be like.
Yeah.
Although
to
I
the
feel
extreme.
like if someone was watching that to try and find out what we are like, they wouldn't get it, or they wouldn't really kind of get into it because they have no kind of reference point to it.
Yeah,
No.
you need some
You
sort
need
of
to know
relatable
those
there.
actual people, whether you're one of them or not. Everybody knows a Will, especially. Everybody knows a Neil, that kind of dopey friend who's
Everyone's got to know a Jay though, right? Like a proper bullshitter.
yeah, someone who talks absolute nonsense.
Yeah. Because there's an episode. Sorry, there's an episode where they all bunk off school, and Will dresses up in like a suit and buys some alcohol, and then they all sit in Neil's house. I think that's
Oh,
when he
yeah.
goes, "You bummed her," to
To
Neil's
his dad.
dad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But like they're all just sat around, they're skiving and they're drinking, and then the parents like proper bollock them, and they're like,
all of the parents
"Mm,
come in.
Yeah, he touched me here. Do you remember Simon?
Yeah.
What an awkward episode
Oh
that is.
god, yeah.
But like that's relatable because, you know, I
People did
bunked
that.
off. Yeah.
Yeah, we all bunked
Oh.
off.
Did you bunk off?
Activities week.
Oh, did he balls bunk off?
Me.
Yeah.
Here and
Did
there.
you?
I only bunked off as it like if
Because you
I-
couldn't be asked going and not
Yeah.
to do
And
If you
anything
stayed
else.
in bed and played.
no,
played
like if
PlayStation.
I kind of well, because my mum's a nurse, so she knows if I was ill or not. So I'd kind of play it to my dad that I was ill, try, and then he'd be like, "Oh, fine, go, you can stay home."
I had the advantage of being like a super nerdy kid, so I'd always want to go to school. So then when I did decide, when I did hit the point where I was like, oh god damn it, they'd have the face for me from being like 9 and being like, oh I'm fine, even though I was on the verge of death. I can
Yeah.
go in. So then I could then play it as
Oh, opposite for me. I'm pretty sure from year 9 to year 11, I went to 2 science lessons
Jesus.
within three years.
That's not
But
good.
that was.
Were your
I don't
parents
get-
both out the house though? Or
No,
did
that
you
wasn't
go
just
wander
due
the
to.
town?
No, I'd go in school, and when it came to science,
Oh, you
I'd
just
just sort
left.
of wander about a bit, and then we
Yeah.
couldn't leave. We have barbed wire and gates at our school.
I'd stayed in the sixth form common room quite a lot when I should have been in like chemistry because my teacher was a pillock. You hear that? Not Miss. Oh, what's her name?
Saying that though,
I
I
was
used
about
to
to call her out.
I used to spend the time in the library. Like I used to take my books from science and work in the library because I hated my class. But my librarian at the time used to offer to take me to the pub and buy me vodka. Yeah,
This is no. That's what is this?
he was weird.
Yeah, no, I'd rather not get into that because that just angers me.
Yeah, we'll cut that out as well. That was weird.
Nah, it's alright. We'll
Call
keep
him
it
out.
in. We'll
What's
call
his
him
full
out.
name?
Yeah, what's
I'm
his
not
real
gonna
name?
call him out.
What's his road? You know, he probably
He's
tried
got,
to
he's
take
got
you
a
there.
kid now as well. It just feels weird.
Oh, I don't like that. So
Yeah,
anyway,
by the way, he's got a kid. Is it his kid?
He's good.
yeah,
Yeah,
just
he's got a
checking.
kid.
shall we
Yeah,
wrap up?
let's wrap up.
The that's 6 stars. You know,
Solid.
yeah, it's not bad.
I'm
Solid.
happy with that.
Nice.
Please stop saying something.
All right. So thank you very much for listening to this episode of
Nah,
Tripod
say
Talk. You guys.
What? Oh, I know.
Do we keep interrupting
Yeah,
you?
he played a bit back and he's trying to do something and me and you're just chatting
The
shit
thing
in the
is, you
background.
need to give us like a look so we know you're about to do something proper and won't behave. But you just suddenly go into it.
Go.
Well, yeah, thank you guys for listening if you did. Obviously, because you will be listening to this part. If you want to keep listening to us, you can find us on YouTube, SoundCloud, Stitcher, iTunes, anywhere where you if any sort of podcast app, you're probably able to find us, I hope. Please subscribe so you can keep up to date with everything that we do. I have been Matt Lister, I've been your host, and I've been joined by Miss Sophie Ellis.
See ya.
And Mr. Dylan Moore.
See ya.
And this has been...
Tripod Talk.
Hey, that's us. That's us. We're talking about films and stuff. Not anymore, because we're clocking off. See ya!
Alright.
Bye! Bill?
See ya.
See ya.